4, 3, 2, 1.
HawtPocket game and HawtPocket game and HawtPocket game and
Hey guys, and welcome to the first ever HawtPodcast, brought to you by myself, Cody Graham, and my buddy here. I'll let you introduce yourself.
I'm Shrade. Very
Shrade.
nice to meet you all. That's Shrade, not Shaw Raid, Shrade, Scarati, or any other shitty variant. So, hello.
Essentially, we're going to be focusing today on the best of 2015 as far as what games we've played, which has kind of been bottlenecked into the PlayStation 4 since we just recently got into PC gaming. First things we'll touch on, though, I guess, is Shrade, what games came out this year?
Well, we had a pretty good little list. We're going to go with the most notable, not in any chronological order. Metal Gear Solid 5 dropped. Grow Home came out, which is a nice little fun game. Destiny the Taken King, Borderland, the Handsome Jack Collection, Helldivers, Fallout 4, Battlefield Hardline, Rocket League, Star Wars Battlefront itself, and what am I missing? I know I'm missing one. Oh yeah, The Witcher 3.
Okay, so let's go ahead and one of our most favorite games anyways, let's go ahead and we're not going to go by release date because I don't have them written down. Let's go ahead and start with Rocket League and talk about why we like that.
Well, Rocket League for me was the surprise hit. It was a free-to-play. Of course, the first thing you're going to do, any self-respecting PlayStation 4 player, you're going to download your free game of the month. Rocket League was a breakout. I played the shit out of this game. Like one day, we put in like 5 hours straight, I think.
Yeah, it was a ridiculous amount.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah.
The fact that it's cross-platform really helped out a lot with the notoriety of this game. PlayStation 4 players got it for free. I think right now, at the time we're recording this, it's on sale for $13 on Steam sale.
Yeah, it's a pretty good game, especially for the price. Essentially, if you haven't heard of it, Rocket League is soccer with cars. It sounds insane, sounds stupid, but it's definitely worth a look. It's borderline chaos at sometimes too, and it's kind of beautiful how it all comes together between the chaos and what you would consider skill, maybe luck, a little bit of in between. Kind of like Luke when he was shooting that thing down the womp rat hole, his blaster. But nonetheless, Rocket League was definitely good. I particularly remember a lot of those moments where we'd stay up god-awful hours of the night playing people and then just getting pissed when we had lag, or just getting pissed in general whenever we were getting beaten by just some bullshit shots and things like that. So Rocket League was definitely high up on the list for me anyways. Oh, yeah. I enjoyed the fuck out of it. But no, and then we had another one of the games that we came out with was, or at least we played, you and I, was Dying Light. Dying Light was one of those games I was a little concerned about, and it would have gotten cannibalized had it came out in 2014. Luckily for them, it came out in February, I believe, of 2015. It was one of those games I wasn't expecting much out of it. I knew it was made from the original Dead Island developers, and I wasn't expecting much from it. But it ended up being not incredible, but very, very good, very great. And definitely something that should be on the Game of the Year watch for a lot of the big companies and things like that are looking out for those.
Yeah. One of the things that really worked out well for Dying Light, like you said, was February release date. Really helped out. You're not trying to compete with all the other really solid AAA titles that came out in 2014.
It wouldn't have been as bad as, say, like Tomb Raider this year, but it would have been close.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially like what they did with Alvin and the Chipmunks and Star Wars. That's what it would have been like. I mean... But Dying Light really found its own little niche. They were really good with moving around the island. The crafting system was pretty solid. I was oftentimes scrounging around for certain parts that I needed. And then the story was pretty good. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it was really solid.
Oh, naturally. But, I mean, especially with the zombie genre anyways, it's kind of gotten beaten to death. So, at that point, you really don't go to the zombie games for the stories, I wouldn't think. But the thing that really surprised me about that was the parkour. Because if you remember back, the first game that I remember playing with parkour, at least trying to go with this sort of parkour, was Mirror's Edge. Was not a fan. It's kind of a cult hit. A lot of people love it. They're coming out with Mirror's Edge 2 and things like that. But let me go take care of these dogs real quick. Go! Nope.
You'll have to excuse our other host. He has 3 wiener dogs, all of which have the same shitty personality. So, there you go.
Sorry. I have no clue
Okay.
what he said, but we'll hear it in the edit. No, Dying Light, the parkour system was surprisingly, I wouldn't say new or crazy, but they definitely took on what Mirror's Edge did and what they did good and improved upon it. And the control scheme was a little wonky at first, but once you got used to it, you'd realize why they put it that way. And ended up being really good in the end, especially once you started getting the power-ups and starting getting a little bit better. Made you a little bit more empowered.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, you say wonky, and it was kind of its own little quirky game. There were really serious elements to it, and then you get down to the, day-night cycle was terrifying. Oh my god, nighttime. Your first time you got stuck out in the middle of nowhere at night was awful.
Yeah, it was. It was interesting to say the least. Even whenever you started getting guns and a heck of a lot more powerful weapons, it was something else. That's for sure.
And then they had the Mario. Yeah, the old.
Yeah, they had a bunch of
very first
Easter
level
eggs.
Mario in it. Lots of really good Easter eggs. Some of the stuff, and of course there was the little glitch where you could spawn in as many as of one item as you needed.
the duplicate
and I believe
glitch.
they patched it. But
I'm not sure. There's no telling.
I know that I have 999 airstrike flares still to this day. So, just in case you were wondering, it's
Yeah.
still pretty solid.
But yeah, Dying Light was definitely... let me just say that I fucking love Dying Light. I enjoyed it single player. I enjoyed it with friends. Of course, you're really the only person I played it with, but at the same time, it was a lot of fun. Just running around and trying to... realizing that I was better at parkour, and then realizing that you were a hell of a lot better at shooting, and then kind of just using that all together, fucking each other over by shooting a zombie and getting
Running
the
away.
horde. Yeah.
Yeah, running away.
Um,
Stranding out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was a lot of fun. I guess the next one we could move on to was, let's see here. We'll go with Battlefield Hardline.
Ooh. Essentially, Battlefield Hardline for me was saddening. I was really hurt by what they did to Battlefield had a really good rhythm, and yeah, the whole first-person, army shoot 'em up genre is beat to death. But Battlefield is a solid platform. I mean, you take the same shit, you can regurgitate it. It's not like Call of Duty. Oh, well, we added this. Oh, well, we have 34 kill streaks. Yeah, that's great and all. And there's a certain niche for Battlefield and a certain niche for Call of Duty. That's all. We're gonna go on to that little spiel there. But Battlefield Hardline for me was, like I said, very upsetting. The cops and robbers aspect of it was...
And they took a little bit from Payday, but Payday in and of itself is its own beast, its own little cult hit over there. I don't know. I wasn't as big of a fan of it. I wasn't not a fan because I did enjoy playing it, but there were aspects of it that it just didn't click with me near as well as say the Battlefield 4 just normal basic bitch over there did. Because we're playing that on PC right now, and I've had a lot more fun so far with it than we did all together with a Hardline. Now, we did have our memorable moments where I finally learned how to fly a helicopter, and we started wrecking some shit with that. But, it didn't quite click with me. It wasn't exactly what I was looking for, especially in the Battlefield genre, if you will. The maps were significantly sized down, if I'm not mistaken, compared to Battlefield 4, which worked for it, but it also didn't work for it. Just because the Battlefield 4 maps sometimes are too large, but sometimes, especially with the 64 players, it's perfect. And then you've got the Battlefield Hardline maps where it did feel like they scrunched them up just a little bit to where they're still sizable maps. I mean, they're definitely not Call of Duty maps in terms of their size, but like I say, it worked for it. It worked against it. The spawning, if I'm not mistaken, was bad.
Yeah, it was pretty rough.
And of course, it was bad in Battlefield 4. It still is bad in Battlefield 4 as well.
Yeah.
Or at least in Team Deathmatch. I'm not so sure about Conquest because I hadn't played a lot about that yet. But that was really anything that was worth grab was Conquest. To me, in Battlefield 4.
I'm more of your standard.
Battlefield Hardline, sorry.
Yeah, I really enjoyed team deathmatch, and I'm strictly team deathmatch. You know, in any first-person shooter that I play.
Sure.
The objective gameplay, like, I understand it. I enjoy a break from team deathmatch every once in a while, but strictly team deathmatch. And for me, in that aspect, Battlefield Hardline kind of meh, just kind of fell apart. And
didn't quite hit that mark. Didn't scratch that itch.
yeah, and it
didn't tickle your
really
testicles the way you wanted it to.
More or less. It didn't really seem to be that ultra competitive game that I was looking for. It seemed to be, you know, a little bit more of a laid back, kind of relaxed version of the Battlefield that I'm used to.
Mm-hmm.
The intensity wasn't as much, the speed and the constant, you know, you're repeating the same thing over and over in any first person shooter.
Sure.
But now with the scaling of the maps, you've got like 3 different places to run to. It's essentially playing Operation Locker from Battlefield 4 on every map, and it sucked.
If you and you also got to take into account too, this was made and I believe developed by Visceral, which is not DICE. Now DICE oversaw it, but Visceral did make it, which I'm sure probably is why it was just a little bit different, and different enough for some people, because I know some people who do like it. But again, it was meh. It was good. It was definitely a solid like 7 to 8 out of 10 probably for me.
I'll go with the 7.
If I had to put a subjective number on it. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to the next one here. We got not Battlefield Hardline, Bloodborne.
Bloodborne, that is all yours. I know that anything with that level of difficulty makes me want to put my fist through a TV or monitor screen. So
put your dick in a blender.
Pretty much.
So Bloodborne was interesting for me, and it was one of those games where, like Dark Souls, I have to be in the mood for it. And at the time, I was like, okay, there's a lot of hype behind it. So I jumped in, went head first, knowing that it was like Dark Souls, knowing that I've played Dark Souls and kind of understanding that formula a little bit. Enjoyed it. I got to Father Gascoigne, beat Father Gascoigne. That's it. Second boss. Done. That was enough for me to understand what was going on. And understanding what they're going for with that. And it wasn't the game that I was looking for. It was definitely good, but it was not exactly the game that I was looking for. Enjoyed it, can understand why people love it. I'm going to go take care of my dog real quick.
Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, same little asshole dog. Oh, we're wiener dogs. We like to bark all the time, tear shit up, scream, all that stuff. So, you'll have to excuse him.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay. We were just getting a history lesson on your... See, there it is again. Every time. I told you.
Here. See the bone. Bone.
He's terrified of his dog. Just want y'all to know that.
Just throw the bone over the banister and you've got partial solution. We'll save Fallout 4 for the last, because that was one of the most recent releases, the ones that are kind of more fresh in our mind. Let's see, let's go through here. There's a shit ton of just little indie games that I played. I know you didn't touch. I played. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Helldivers first.
Okay, Helldivers. That is a game that you played with me.
Yes, he is slowly getting me out of my little first-person shooter AAA title hole. So this was kind of the introduction to that. I really enjoyed it for what it was, and it was just a solid, all-around, over-the-top, 4-person co-op, and
very reminiscent of Super Troopers. No, is it Super Troopers? No.
No.
My nerd culture's failing me right now. God damn it.
They're back.
Spaceship Troopers.
Is that it?
Fuck me, let's move on.
Fuck it, let's move on. Okay, so anyway, Helldivers pretty solid. If you haven't heard of it, go look it up. It's a pretty good time. And go ahead and grab some friends, get into it. Solid.
Yeah, and to put a little bit more commentary on it, it is a twin stick shooter. It is cross-play between the PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita. It is available for the PlayStation Vita, PlayStation 4, and the PlayStation 3, and PC.
Ladies and gentlemen, you'll have to excuse the ringing of dog tags.
Let me show you the little Kraken. Oh, it's over here.
Yeah, the other one is so fat he can't even lift it up.
Look at this. Look how sweet she is. She's
a devil. She's the worst dog I've ever met.
She's certainly not the worst. I've had worse.
Oh, I have not.
Well, because you get these dogs that are like a couple 100 pounds when they're born, and they're like borderline lethargic.
Hey, Bailey is a sweet little Labradine, and you will not slander her in any way.
Just sitting there, like everything that comes out of her mouth is just, "Oh, hey, Dad," speaking like a fucking whale, like Dory.
Hey,
your dog is Dory.
Well, you have 3 little Hitlers running around, so shut your mouth.
Just because
anyway,
they're Jewish. Haven't you seen Spanky's nose?
Hey, that's because you got hit in the face. She got kicked in the face.
It was not by me. That was by the previous owner, which is why we saved her. She is socially scarred.
Yeah, with a really fucked up face.
Helldivers. Great game. Worth a look. It's like $15 on PSN, like $15, $20 on Steam. Let's go through here. Grow Home.
Loved it. I don't know what it was, but I loved it. I found every one of those damn gems.
It wasn't
like 4 hours.
It's not technically an indie game because it was published and created by Ubisoft.
Yeah.
But God, it is weird.
It's awesome.
It's a very fucking different game. But I don't really know how to put that into words. Like it was an experience in and of itself. It was something different, something great. Yeah. I don't know exactly. It's very cartoonish look. Enjoyable. Fun. Worth a look. Sherry, talk about Tower of Guns, that garbage pile of shit that you enjoy
Tower
so
of
much.
Guns is a first-person, almost arcade-like shooter with okay graphics.
No, there's nothing okay about that. I could go back on my fucking PC, play Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone, made back in like 2001. That has like pixels the size of a cow's fucking udder. And it will beat the shit out of Tower of Guns.
Okay, well, you can take Harry Potter and shove that up your ass.
Tower of Guns is like RuneScape.
Tower of Gun was free.
Is like RuneScape and Harry Potter the Sorcerer's Stone from 2001 had a love child. And it was Tower of Guns. That just so happened to be a shooter because it was so rebellious and it didn't want to follow the tropes of fucking Harry Potter and RuneScape. So it went off and did its own fucking thing. But it still looks just as shitty.
Hey, how much did you pay for Harry Potter, the Sorcerer's Stone?
You know, back in the day, probably nothing because it was my parents who bought it.
Oh, yeah, see, there's the thing. Free download. I'm not saying this is the game of the year. I'm just saying, if I've got like 30 minutes to kill, I'm going to play a little bit of Tower of Guns.
If I have 30 minutes to kill, I want to at least spend it with quality. So, did you enjoy it though, Sherry?
I did. It was a good time. I did have developed a nice little problem of staring at it for so long, and it's so busy at times. The explosions in the background, especially during like boss fights. Mm-hmm. Oh man, you better watch your eyes. The shit hurts.
Of course, that shows you how much I played of it. I didn't even realize there was boss fights.
Every stage, at the end of every stage, it had a boss fight.
Okay.
You gave it a solid 5 minutes.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that. Anyways, let's see. Axiom Verge. Enjoyed that. 2D Metrovania style game. Fun, futuristic. Plays on the tropes of old school 16-bit shooters very heavily. Feels like an SNES or NES game. It's fun. It's great for the nostalgia. Made by literally one person. Which is kind of cool in and of itself. Titan Souls is another game that it's kind of a surprise hit. You're a boy or girl, presumably. You have one arrow. You kill some big bad titans. It's very challenging, very fun. It's not up for my game of the year, but it is something to be mentioned because it is a fun indie game. Super Meat Boy is another one that's been out for a while. They finally brought it to the PS4, the PS Vita, and play the shit out of that. It's a really ultra hard, ultra challenging, fast twitch-based 2D platformer. I'm not really going to go over any more of these indies because they're kind of just things that I could just sit here and talk about for a little bit, but nothing that's really worthwhile mentioning. Let's go ahead and talk about The Witcher 3. Because
Lots
that's something...
of reading. I played it for a little while and then kind of fell out of it. Then again, I was never a Witcher fan, so I never played 1 or 2. And then this guy got it for me for my birthday, so I put the hours into it, played it. I enjoyed it. I did not read the tutorial because I am a gamer man and I don't need no limitations to what I'm going to do. And that really fucked me hard in the ass the later that I got. So, in my opinion, Witcher 3 was a great game, just not for me.
Okay, so The Witcher 3, I'll probably put in a good 100 or so hours into it. Put a shit ton of hours into it, to say the least. I actually read everything. I've never played a Witcher in my life. I've never touched 1 or 2. 2 was, I think, exclusively on the Xbox 360, and I didn't want to play it. Had no interest in it, and then Witcher 3 gained a lot of backing behind it, and decided to give it a try. It's a very, in my opinion, this is obviously in your opinion, because you're just like, it was fun, it's great, it's whatever. Wasn't my game. It's a beautifully crafted world with some very terrifying monsters, very terrifying beast. It's a very tough game. It's a notoriously hard game. It's not by any means on the level of Bloodborne or Dark Souls. It is a different game and shouldn't be compared to that. Had a style that was very reminiscent of Batman Arkham Knight in the fact that, well, I say Arkham, just the Arkham games. It's just kind of a square to hit, but then you got the triangle for the heavy hit, and then you've got circle for your counterattacks, square for dodging, so on and so forth. Or, it's a little bit more complicated of a system. The RPG elements are really, really good, and the quests, there's just so many fucking quests. In fact, I never actually beat the story on the game. What I played was strictly side quests, and it's very overwhelming at first until you kind of get into like a groove, so to speak, of going from one quest to the other, to the other, to the other. The graphics were incredible. Just the fact that it held up so well on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One was surprising to me, because it was pretty graphically intensive, especially with the lighting system and everything that was going on. It was a very busy, very lived-in world, if you will. Like, there wasn't one point that I was playing that game that I was like, this does not feel believable. Like, everything in there felt believable, so to speak. Obviously, you're not going to have a lot of beasts and monsters running around the world, but it did feel like a world that you could exist in.
You're wrong about that. Lawyers.
Oh,
accountants,
yeah.
auditors.
Well, accountants aren't so bad. It's the lawyers you got to watch out for.
Yeah, and auditors.
Probably. I bet they hate their jobs.
No,
And they may. I don't know.
I mean, you're right. It was a very gorgeously. It felt lived in, and that was what really threw me into it. The battle with the Griffin to me is still one of the better accomplishments that I've done in a while. It's something that I'll remember. But I didn't like the rubber banding. And when I say rubber banding, I'm kind of forced into one area because I'm a level 1. I don't want to roll up on a level 34 bear and get the shit kicked out of me because, he wanted to explore. You have to understand, in open world games, the first thing I'm going to do, I didn't fucking beat Skyrim until I was like 60 hours in to do the 3rd mission. I was like, well, whatever, okay.
Yeah, and that's one thing. Bethesda is masterful of creating open worlds.
But we're not talking about Bethesda right now. Let's keep it in
CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red.
But yeah, Witcher 3 is definitely on the Game of the Year top tier, at least for me, because it was so masterfully well done. And for CD Projekt Red, who hadn't got a lot of notoriety in the past, this was a hell of an accomplishment. And right now, in a lot of the big publications like IGN or GameSpot, they're giving like all their attention to that because it is great. It's incredible. Let's move on here. Assassin's Creed Syndicate is a game I played.
Yeah, I did not. I'm done with Assassin's Creed after like the second one. Done. Same shitty formula every time.
Best Assassin's Creed since Black Flag to me. A lot of fun. Characters were enjoyable. People complain about the boss fight. Boss fight wasn't bad. It was okay. It wasn't anything to write home about. but it was enjoyable. Nothing more to say about it. It's Assassin's Creed. It's just more of the same, more of the fun stuff. That's what I enjoy. London was beautiful, though. London was gorgeous in that game.
Yeah.
Until Dawn deserves a mention. Until Dawn was kind of a butterfly effect teen horror trope. Similar to, like, say, Cabin in the Woods, where it was just relied so heavily on just these goofy horror tropes. But it was great. It was good. I think I read somewhere where you had like 256 ways to get to 6 different endings or some shit like that. So, like, every time you play, you so much as, like, make one little decision. Like, it's not a small impact. Like, it's not like, oh, well, Tracy hates you. No. Like, you make that one little decision, could fucking kill somebody off, maybe. Because of the butterfly effect. Yeah, and it's really good because of that. And it was a game that Sony really didn't market a whole bunch. But definitely deserves a mention. Definitely is a beautiful game, with the exception of, like, the weird facial animations occasionally. But it was fun.
Yeah.
Flew under a lot of people's radar as a sleeper hit.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and move on to a game that you and I played the hell out of too, and that is Destiny: The Taken King.
Okay.
We understand Destiny wasn't released this year, but The Taken King was, and that's its own damn thing.
Yeah.
Destiny: The Taken King is everything that I wanted Destiny to be the first time around. And they fixed a lot of things, so I would like to thank all the developers and everybody that worked on it. Thank you for making Destiny great. I appreciate it. The expansion itself, the story mode was finally a story. It didn't feel like everything was taken out in pieces. And
Yeah.
I mean, it was really solid. Destiny: The Taken King for me is on my top tier of things,
And
just because of the companionship that you and I had through it. It was like, okay, well, we're going to start out and we're going to beat the story together and take everything off.
And with Destiny, anyways, like, we had the Nexus and stuff like that. We created our own new stories with that. It was a lot of fun. It was a hell of a lot of fun. It, like you said, it was everything that I wanted Destiny to be. Everything I thought Destiny was going into it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh yeah.
It did have a decent. The story was okay. I mean, it was adding on to the lore that was already set there, but it was more story than what we were given previously. And they changed over to changed voice actors from Dinklage to Nolan North, which was a good change for me because I like Nolan North. I'm a big fanboy mainly because he does all the Uncharted's, which is my bread and butter. Kids these days will never know who Dinklebot is.
Tyrone.
When I was your age, we had Dinklebot, not Nolan North. You little sons of bitches.
Let's see. Another reboot from, well, I guess essentially not a reboot, but another game that was made relevant is Borderlands: The Handsome Jack Collection.
Yep.
Loved it. Love it.
Still playing
it right now.
It's essentially just a port to the PlayStation 4, remaster, if you will. Brought it up, not to PC standards, but at least a hell of a lot more than what the PS3, Xbox 360 were. Fixed a lot of the fucking frame rate issues where it's not dropping into the single digits anymore. So it was worth playing. And on top of that, you're buying a $59 game, and it's giving you all the DLC for Borderlands 2 and the original game, and all the DLC for Borderlands, a pre-sequel. So pretty fucking good. A lot of content. Really meaty. Really fun. More fun with other people.
Claptrap, still wrecking shop.
Fuck that bastard. His little minion bullshit. Okay, let's see. Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection has another report. A lot of fun. Mad Max. Let me tell you about fucking Mad Max.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, so Journey came out a couple years back. Journey also came out this year on PS4. Beautiful, beautiful desert. Let me tell you how fucking beautiful that desert is. Let me tell you how fucking beautiful Uncharted 3's desert is. Well, you go to Mad Max, that desert and that area is just fucking gorgeous. It is gorgeous. Character models are garbage. Character models are something that could have been made back in the PS3 era and been just fucking top notch, but now it's just... Bleh. Mad Max's car combat is where it all lies. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Being able to customize your car. And it is deep, too. Being able to put your spikes on your car and all this extra shit and fight shit and with just your car. And it's something different. A lot of open world games will like rely on cars like, say, Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that. And yeah, you can customize it and put your fenders on there, raise it up 15 inches, make your gangster mobile or whatever. But Mad Max was something that focused on car combat that we have not seen in a long time. So it was different. And it was different enough to be able to kind of get me through that little span of time where I was waiting on Christmas presents to see what I was going to buy next. So it was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. Haven't gone back, but it's one of those games you can jump right back in and who cares? You don't have to worry about missing out on the story because there's not an incredible story behind it. You can jump in and fuck some shit up, come back later. It was fun. Taco Master Vita. Very similar to Cooking Mama, I believe. I never played Cooking Mama, but I think it is. It's just, hey, here's some orders. Make a fucking taco. Send it out. Very hectic, very fun. Not game of the year.
Also turns a friend against friend, apparently. It's okay, so here's what happened. All I did was text him. He was like, oh, I'm playing taco whatever. And it's just like, okay, that's cool. And then he just comes back with this irate text. Don't you fucking judge me. You don't know where I've been. So, whoa, a little too hostile. Didn't realize that this game made you feel like an asshole.
It'll change you.
It'll change you. So
it's an experience. Taco Master is a fucking experience.
So just a disclaimer, if you lose some friends because of Taco Master, you're not the only one. We're going to get a help group together, really get some support behind this, make sure the friendships can still last.
Do you hear that? It's the Sarah McLachlan music. In the arms of an angel far away.
While you're thinking, Guitar Hero Live.
Okay, what do you think about it?
Same cripple-inducing. Just my hands hurt so bad. I got carpal tunnel because of that game. The live portion of it is really fun. You know, they put you on stage, let you see through, guitarist. Really cool experience. It's not the same, like, I can be Lars and stare at Lars the whole time, like I'm from the crowd. Okay, like, that's cool, but they actually sit you on stage and let you go through that, and it was really fun. And then there were online category where you can go in and do all kinds of songs from different genres and eras. It goes from like death metal to like pop.
Now that's on the Guitar Hero TV, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Which gives you gobs of more songs outside of the bass tracks that you're given.
Mm-hmm. That's all. That's the online portion, and you can kind of play with what they call radio, and it just kind of streams it back and forth. And then you go into the list. You can go ahead and play down the list of songs that you want. So it's a really good time. It's just a party game. There's really nothing more to say about it.
Batman Arkham Knight, with the exception of the PC flop, Batman Arkham Knight was really good, very beautiful. Hated the fucking tank missions. Fuck that tank. I'm sick and tired of jumping in the Batmobile and turning into a tank. No, I just want the Batmobile. I just want to run some shit over, get from point A to point B. But Batman was more of the same. A lot of fun. Nothing wrong with it for being more of the same. I wouldn't say that I'm a hardcore Batman fan, but I'm enough to know who the fuck the Arkham Knight was supposed to be. Spoilers, it wasn't anything like exciting. The Joker was incredible though, just how they included him in the set pieces of that. Let's go ahead and go on to
biggest upset of the entire year, Cody.
Okay.
What was it?
Battlefront.
Exactly. Star Wars Battlefront is the biggest upset. I've never raged so hard. Day one DLC.
Well, let's talk about the beta first, because that's what we played before we realized that EA was just going to bend us over.
It was good. The beta was actually really good. Combat was a little bit lacking, and it was a little on the buggy side, at least for myself.
Yeah.
But we definitely put a lot of hours into the beta, and so it really hyped me up. It was like, oh man, I can control Darth Vader. I'm sold. I mean, I'm done.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm content with life. And then it went to shit.
Mm-hmm.
And before I rage too hard, you go ahead and give your opinion, and then I'll go ahead and finish it off with screaming at the set.
Battlefront was very beautiful, and it's exactly what they were going for. It is very, as they quoted, authentic. It's pretty. It's gorgeous. The gameplay is fun. It is very solid. It's a very solid shooter. It is going for more of the casual market now. But yeah, outside of the beta, I saw all that I needed to with that. Sure, there's not as many maps or anything like that, but that's all I needed. I wanted some more, but I wasn't going to get... I'm kind of speaking with my wallet on that. Day one DLC, I'm fine with if it's that small little stuff. It's like, hey, Walmart's got this little exclusive. Now you can play as so-and-so. Or now you've got this weapon. I'm okay with that. That's fine. What my problem is when you come in there and you've got a $64 game, and when you get that, you expect $64 worth of fucking content.
Mm-hmm.
And you receive maybe $30. Like, $30, I would buy the game. But $64 and they give you about half a piece of shit. And then they expect you to pay an additional $50. $50! That is the price of another game. Nearly, like $10 off. But
well, if you count in the $70 price tag for whatever version of the game, and then you add that fucking $50, you've got enough for 2 good games. Like, you could go do it. Oh.
And $10. I got more content from The Witcher 3 within the first 10 fucking hours than what you would get with $64.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Max has more fucking content than Battlefront.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Max, Taco Master has
Taco
more.
Master.
Probably not, but the point being is like that is, and that was such a punch in the gut by EA too, and it really burned me on them. So right now I'm speaking with my wallet. I refuse to buy it unless someone else buys it for me. Like, so I'm like, here's Battlefront. I mean, I'm not gonna, say, yeah, I don't want it. I mean, I would still take it if it was free, but like to give them the satisfaction, and I'm not going to make a mark on the market at all. Like, the sales are speaking for itself, I'm sure, but I don't want to support that kind of behavior, and it's garbage that they think that's appropriate.
I refuse to be the sheeple that buys into it. I'm tired of the market and these big video game companies coming in with, oh, we'll do all this shit, and we're going to keep shoving it down your throat, and we're going to make you buy it, and we're going to give you less, and we're going to expect you to do the same shit. It's time for us to rise up and join our brothers and sisters and say, fuck that. Let's get it over with. Give us real games for the price that we expect to pay, and that is all I'm saying.
And and what really burns me is you have people like CD Projekt Red, who make The Witcher 3, who make a game that is, in my opinion, way too fucking big, but that's $64. That is way more than $64, and that's fine. Hell, you've got games like Assassin's Creed Syndicate. $64. Sure, it's a rehash, but you get a lot more fucking content with that.
Yeah.
A lot more. You get more content with Call of Duty, which is essentially more of a rehash than Assassin's Creed Syndicate is. So, I don't know. Burn me. Fucking hate it. It really hurts me to say because I really wanted that game to be good. And I really wanted to buy that game. And it's killing me not to because it is fun, it is good, but I don't want to support that kind of behavior.
Mm-hmm. Time to rise up and speak your wallet.
Metal Gear Solid 5 was a game. It was a game. It was fun. Really good. Really pretty. Had no clue what was going on. Never played another Metal Gear Solid in my life, but it was fun. I did understand it. It's fun to get you to go back and play. But that's about all I got to say about that, just because I don't understand it on the same level that a lot of people do. But it was great. It's very great.
Let's go ahead and jump into Call of Duty. Same shit since ever. And that's pretty much it. Same thing every year. Just keep throwing it back out there.
The multiplayer was better than what I thought Advanced Warfare was.
I hope so.
I enjoy...
Awful.
Is it not Treyarch? Is it Infinity Ward who does...
Sledge?
Is it Sledgehammer Games that did Black Ops?
Oh shit, it's Infinity Ward.
Okay, so I enjoyed that. I enjoy their multiplayer. It was a lot of fun. Single player, not so much. They really fun. And usually, like, you go to Call of Duty, you have a stupid fun single player. It's just full of a bunch of, like, action tropes, and that's okay. That's what I want. I want to go there for just like a Michael Bay-esque movie. This just didn't have it. It just seemed too chopped up, too sectioned out to accommodate for that co-op, which I'm sure it's great with co-op, but I hadn't played it yet. Co-op. And
I got ripped. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, you got ripped off. You didn't even have a CD in your fucking case, and it was still in the cellophane.
Still in the cellophane, no disc.
That sucks.
I was sad.
I
Really
would be
sad.
too.
That's never happened. So I was like, oh, Mom and Dad got it for me for Christmas. Came home, didn't even really want it, but I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. Sat down, opened the cellophane, nothing in the fucking box but instructions.
Oh man, that'd be rough. Yeah. No, I would. Surprised they even included instructions.
I know, right? Like, oh, well, somebody obviously put that in there.
I was looking at like my old.
Fucking disc.
I was looking at my old PlayStation 2 games the other day. I pulled out the original Battlefront 2, and it was fucking funny. Just the fact that like half that fucking disc box's weight was the instruction manual, and now you get like a piece of paper that's just like Call of Duty, and on the back it's like here's some other cool games. That's it. That's all you get.
Same shit every year. You should already know. You are the sheeple. Go ahead, buy our shit every year.
I enjoyed it because of the crazy fun, stupid campaign, thoughtless campaigns. Sometimes the multiplayer, it's a good jump in, jump out, but it's definitely pushing for the more of the casual market. I do enjoy the fact that PlayStation's been kind of pushing for that and trying to pull it away more from Xbox and bringing in sales that way. Anyway, that's a whole different topic.
That'll be our next one.
Let's go ahead and talk about Fallout 4.
Game of the year, hands down. My game of the year.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved Fallout 4. I hate that everybody was bitching about the graphics. If you really want to go bitch at the graphics, go look at Fallout 3 and then come back and be like, you know what? Man, I'm really sorry I was talking shit about this Fallout 4 thing. Because it literally looks like I wiped my ass with like a piece of 1-ply. That's the same feeling I get when I look at Fallout 3. I pretty much gave myself a prostate exam looking at Fallout 3.
So here's the problem with Fallout 4. With the graphics, specifically. That game was made in a fucking vacuum.
Yeah.
Like, they started that as soon as they finished Fallout 4, the Game of the Year edition, like all the additional stuff, all the additional DLC, they started that immediately after. Is my dog snoring right now?
Yes. Yes, your dog is snoring right now.
Hey, Sophie.
Go ahead and lift Falcor's fat ass up there, Cody. Show the world your dog.
Okay, come here. Oh, no.
Church.
This is Sophie. She's a sweet dog.
No, she's not. She has breathing problems. You can't make it through a conversation without her snoring or going.
She's got a reverse sneezing problem. Back off. She's got allergies.
She's got allergies. Yeah, in like quarter.
Shut the fuck up, Trey.
Hey, I can say that. I'm a fat guy, so like I can make fun of your fat dog.
You're fat shaming my dog. I don't appreciate it. Hashtag no body shame.
Okay.
So Fallout 4 was made in a vacuum. They started it immediately after. They had no way of knowing what it's going to look like. I mean, they would obviously know it's good, but I mean, they're not going to go back and change all their art assets specifically to try to get it up to date. It's a massive fucking game, and to be able to do that would take a lot of fucking time. Fallout 4, yeah, and it was more the same too. Like Fallout 4 is by no means this revolutionary thing that Fallout 3 was at its time, in my opinion.
No,
but
you're absolutely correct.
It definitely made an impact on the gaming industry in terms of its sales and then how good it did. Because Fallout 3 did not do near as good as Fallout 4 immediately, but it did gain a lot of notoriety as far as what it really was about. And then Fallout 4 is when everyone jumped on the bandwagon. It was great for it. Cannibalized Tomb Raider, which was also an incredible game, but it cannibalized. Fallout 4, it was fun. It was more of the same. It was prettier. By no means pretty, but it was prettier. Mm-hmm. And I put quite a few hours into it and enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with it. It was a game like The Witcher 3 where I could exist in.
It's a lived-in world.
Yep.
You throw me into a Fallout game, it is. I mean, Bethesda, every time they come out with an open-world game, they have got the formula down. If you need to look at an open-world game, you're like, man, I want to do anything. Fallout, Skyrim series, or Elder Scrolls series, Skyrim, the latest installment. I mean, how many people are still playing the shit out of Skyrim?
Mm-hmm.
I just got my wife playing Skyrim.
Oh, God, yeah. And I just got done fixing my fuck-ups in modding Skyrim.
Yep. We're now part of the PC so that's nice.
Hashtag PS4 Master Race.
Yeah, no, let's not.
Okay,
Another video, another time.
so starting with yours, what would be your game of the year? And hold on, and then explain that more in depth. Because I know we've talked about this kind of on a basic level. Let's go ahead and start talking about like your game of the year, what you enjoyed about it, why you enjoyed it, why it's your game of the year.
Okay. Well,
and maybe a couple runners up too if you want to.
Okay. Well, we'll go with my runners up, and there's really not a whole lot to do. Game of the year for me is definitely Fallout 4.
Okay.
Runner up would probably be Destiny the Taken King, just because of the hours that we've logged into it.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess my kind of surprise hit was Rocket League. I got blindsided by that game.
Oh yeah.
But back to Fallout 4.
Okay.
Fallout 4 to me is they could end the Fallout series could be done, and that would be perfectly fine.
Sure.
I feel like they established everything that they wanted to do. They knocked it out of the park. You're right, it was created in a vacuum. It did have some issues with graphics, and I understand that. I'm not saying it's the prettiest game out there. I'm just saying, for all of you people that are crying about it, go look at other games. I mean, you were mocking me for Tower of Guns. Like, if Fallout 4 looked like Tower of Guns, yeah,
then we should bitch, yeah.
But the open world platform, Bethesda has it down, like I said, and Fallout 4 is no exception. The RPG elements are essentially gone, technically.
Yeah, it wasn't as much of an RPG as Fallout 3 or even Skyrim. Sorry, go ahead.
But for me, it's just the nostalgia and the hype. The hype train that led up to the Fallout 4 was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You had all that speculation that was coming on. You had the fake website. I mean, just the stuff being teased by 3Dog on Twitter. I mean, it was a good time to be a Fallout fan,
mm-hmm.
and an awful time to be a Fallout fan, because every time one of those hoaxes would fall through, your heart breaks a little bit. Like, damn it, it's the Half-Life 3. We knew it was the Half-Life 3 coming into this. Can't handle this, you know. I'm a big guy. I have heart, man. I might just broke it in a minute. Damn, selling it like that hurt.
Oh yeah.
Fallout. I'm still just. I'm hooked. I cannot get off of it. I'm ready to rebuy it on the PC just to mod it up because I enjoy it so very much.
Oh yeah.
And you know, there's a couple videos. I think a guy beat the game completely in passive,
which is impressive.
Yeah,
you kind of let the companion do the dirty work.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, in that sense, like every playstyle is fitted for this open world.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of like in Skyrim. You know, you could be like a mage, or you could be an archer, or you know, just hand-to-hand fisticuffs. You know, bar brawl.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Fallout really established that there's a diverse group of people, and I have a hard time not talking to somebody that hasn't heard of Fallout 4 and hasn't played Fallout 4 and just enjoyed it immensely.
Mm-hmm.
And so with that is my game of the year. Thank you.
Okay. So where do I start? We'll start with Rocket League. Rocket League, again, it was a lot of fun. Really simple. You jump in, jump out. 5-minute matches, cars, soccer balls, DeLorean, some other really cool shit. Rocket League was a surprise hit. It was a lot of fun. You do have cross-play between PS4, PC. Enjoyed it. Fallout 4, again, I enjoyed. In fact, my favorite thing about Fallout 4 was the crafting system. I really enjoyed it. Hated the fucking building your settlement. It was okay. It was in and of itself okay. It was fun, enjoyable. I had a few hours put into it, but
you're not as a real Sims fan. If you
no.
hit the Minecraft system.
Nope, was not a Sims fan. Fallout 4 was a lot of fun. It was made in a vacuum. I'll give it that, but it was more of the same, and that's what kind of knocked it for me. But I did enjoy it. In fact, this was the first Fallout that I actually beat all the way through with the story, which the story wasn't bad. No spoilers on that, because you hadn't completely beat it yet. You just explored the shit out of it. But yeah, really enjoyable. A lot of fucking fun. Let's go Until Dawn. Again, that was a game that was a sleeper hit for me. I picked it up for the fuck of it. Did not expect what I got, and I enjoyed it. It did everything that, say, Heavy Rain developer Quantic Dream did. It grabbed everything that Quantic Dream held good to themselves and made it better. It is better. It is a better version of Quantic Dream than Quantic Dream to me. But let's see. And actually Quantic Dream could learn a lot, and I mean a lot from Until Dawn. My personal favorite, because I'm not going to count Uncharted Nathan Drake Collection. I could talk all day about how incredible Nathan Drake Collection is. I'm not going to include that just because it is a rehash of the same, which I was okay with. Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is my game of the year. It was a game that I am still playing to this day. I enjoyed the characters. The side quest felt meaningful to me. This was a game that I enjoyed living in. It was a very gritty, fucked up, realistic world. And like Fallout 4, felt really, really lived in. And this is a game that I put a shit ton of hours into. And the only downside to it is I felt like I really never got anywhere. But I was okay with that, because I was existing in this world. I was Geralt of Rivia. I was fucking some shit up. Choices that you make felt meaningful. Characters were really interesting. Monsters were gruesome. Monsters were terrifying, too. Like, it didn't matter what part you were in. If you came across a drowner, you were going to make sure that you had your guard up. You weren't just going to go in there Leroy Jenkins it and just try to fuck some shit up, because you couldn't. It was a tough game. Made you think about what you did. Made you think about your encounters. I just really enjoyed what they did with that game. I really, really enjoyed it. Of course, I'm more of a fan of the third-person open world if I can. But that's just me. That's our differences, and that's why we kind of even each other out. But yeah, The Witcher 3 was masterful. Absolutely gorgeous. Makes me want to go back and figure out more about Geralt. Kind of figure out more of his past through Witchers 1 and 2 on the PC. But yeah, that was enjoyable. That's my game of the year. Do you have any other lasting thoughts?
No. We just hope that you'll join us next time. We'd like to thank you very much for listening in. Y'all have a wonderful morning, evening, and good night. Thanks again from HawtPocket Gaming. We are out.
You bunch of fucking meat sweats. But yeah, that's what we're gonna call you from now on, is a bunch of meat sweats. But yeah, like you said, and hope y'all enjoyed it. This is the HawtPodcast Game of the Year: Fallout 4, and The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. From your boy, Cody Graham.
And Shrade Thompson.
Y'all have a wonderful day, you bunch of meat sweats. Keep sweating.
4, 3, 2, 1.
HawtPocket game and HawtPocket game and HawtPocket game and HawtPocket.